somebody saying that they're a gangster on TikTok is not very gangstery.
Exactly.
People in the underworld don't tend to
On social media.
Yeah, they don't advertise who they are and put a target on themselves. So I didn't really take him very seriously. So obviously you've come up with your idea of what might have happened to him, and I just come up with different ideas that you can debunk. Now, Morocco is in Spain, and it's the only European country that borders Africa. It's North Morocco. So I don't know whether he was in that part of the country and then they had to take him to a hospital further inland than off of that border. You're right. They very rarely air transport somebody in a coma. It's usually a last resort. It's either that they can't look after them medically because they haven't got the resources, or they're on their last legs, you know, so they'll send them home. So that's strange. The other thing I always think, like in terms of crimes, and we tend to look at things we think that make sense that don't always fit the picture. What if Sam has had an accident and is spinning the narrative?
I don't think it was an accident after what people are saying.
What if he fell, or
he hasn't fell. He hasn't fell.
no? So you do think it's some form of retribution?
Yeah. I really do. There's lots being said anyway, but I'm just putting my analysis on it. The reason being is because not long after that incident, within a week, he was in intensive care in a coma.
Yeah. So then the only other thing I would say is, you know, the criminal underworld, a lot of people have morals and integrity when it comes to how you treat women. And if he's upset a few people and then he's pushing his weight around with women, that could be another reason why he's had.
You're missing the point here, and I'm sorry to overtalk you, but the point that you're missing is, right, when he was in Spain in his penthouse, that's where it all kicked off, right? Tintin done one through the back, so he got landed on right there. It wasn't police, he was landed on. Don't forget, he's been showing you know what all over the app, right? And there's other things that have gone on. I'm not scared of Sam Walker. Sam Walker will throw a brick through somebody's window, but listen, you can get that window fixed within 24 hours, right? Sam Walker has been done in, and that's a fact.
100%.
100%. And
no, sorry, you're obviously a Brummie, like me, so, you know, sounds like you're from a neck of the woods.
Exactly, but Ricky, look, listen to what I'm saying, right? It's like now, if you come after, say somebody comes after your daughter or your missus, right? You're going to retaliate.
Without hesitation.
Facts, right? Now, at the end of the day, he went on like a bad man on the app. I've got no sympathy for him, and I hope he hears this. Yeah, no sympathy. You went on like a bad man, and you basically threatened women and children, and now this is called karma. Now I'm going to jump down and gift you.
100%. I've got to agree. I've got to agree there, because at the end of the day, I won't wish death on the guy because he's got 2 daughters on the way, but he has done some stuff. And not only that, he done stuff to me personally, man. He put an elderly gentleman's address on there, vulnerable, and told him that he's going to get his house smashed up. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be honest, there would have been retribution from that anyway. And it would have come directly not from me, but others. So regardless of that, and if that was my daughter that he's done that to, and she was bruised and he threatened to do stuff to her, there would be retributions regardless, because, you know, any man with a bit of clout about him or a bit of something, I'm not going to let a man get away with doing that to the daughter. But I honestly believe, right, in my heart, 99.9%, that's retaliation for what he done to that girl. I honestly believe that's what happened to him. And now he's in a massive wake-up call. I believe that he could have been unalived. I really do. And I reckon it scared him. And I reckon now he wants to pull away from all the badness, the damage, because if he gets another knock in the head or anything, it's over for him.
Hold on a minute. Do you really think he's out the woodworks now? He ain't. He ain't out the woodworks. Just because he's talking, right, on a live please believe me, he's not out the woodworks. When you have a brain injury, yeah, that can
Finished.
come back any time to you, right? Don't forget. Think about it logically, yeah. I had a son, right, that's got a brain injury, right? It took him 6 months to come back round. Now, he's stating that he can't remember certain things, but something's suspicious in my mind, and I don't know whether anyone's going to agree with me on this. How did he know how to put sub chat on, but he didn't know anyone's name?
I'd like to
Thank
speak
you
up
very
on
much.
this subject.
Thank you very much. And not only that, he was slipping up because he said it happened 10 minutes away from me. And he goes, 10 minutes away? We're in Malaga. And he goes, it happened in Costa del Sol. Do you know what I mean? That's where it happened. But don't forget, he said it happened in Africa by the police. Do you know what I mean? And then his girlfriend Holly was sticking up for him because he don't want people to know.
Yeah. There's something, there is something going on because behind the scenes, Tintin knows what's gone on. He was there.
I'll be honest with you, I believe this. I believe that he's I believe he's got the brain injury, I really do. I believe that he could have died, I believe that. But I honestly believe that he's exaggerating it a little bit, not just for the gifts, because it's helping. Because look what he's earned, 15 grand in 2 days, and I've seen what he's earned, so he has earned that. But it's also maybe to the people who hurt him, listen, I'm brain damaged, leave me alone kind of thing. Does that make sense?
But hold on a minute, Rick, what we got to look at, right? We've got to look at the bigger picture, right? He got a dog off the street. Yeah. He earned money off the back of a dog off the street, right? Yeah. Then he's now been injured, right? He's now saying he can't remember names, but he knows how to put a sub chat on.
He knew Angie's name earlier on, but forgot his mum's name.
There, I'm afraid you're very incorrect.
Hold on, sorry to interrupt, right? But when he's the one that outed DG, right? He outed DG, and then he turned round and said DG weren't involved in what had gone on. So how did he remember that then?
Exactly. He remembered the Lucy Angie's name today in a battle, but he never remembered his mum's name. Do you know what I mean?
Talk about a brain injury.
Hold on. Anyone in the comments saying, you know what, be careful. Nah, I ain't going to be careful. He can brick my windows. They'll be, you know what, listen, they'll be done. They'll be done the next day. But I'm going to jump down anyway. I'm going to go in and support you.
Nice one for coming up. I appreciate it.
That's the love, Rick.
And do you know what, as well, just before you do go, I had a friend who had a brain injury as well, and he had half of his skull removed, and he had an accident his name was Anthony, he was, and he passed away 12 months ago, and he had a knock to his head after that, and he passed away because of that. So brain injuries, like you said, are very serious, man, they really are. Yeah, you never hear from them, really.
It is serious. We don't know whether he's going to make it or not, but at the end of the day, what we've got to look at is, right, we've got to look at the certain things that he remembers and the certain things he doesn't. Right now, if you're going to be
it's called selective memory. That's what it's called, selective memory.
Yeah, I don't know why they're saying Claire Duffy. I don't know what's going on here, Rick, but I'm not Claire Duffy. I'll jump down and I'll help you out.
No problem. Thank you, and I appreciate it.
That's a love, babe.
Take care. Bye bye.
On the brain injury, I actually had one in 2010, which is why I eventually
God bless you.
had to give up my career. I used to run, and I was a long distance runner, and I trained for ultra marathons and alongside my studies, and I was stepping out of my shower with soapy suds in the bottom, and there was like a 3-inch lip, and I went backwards and hit the back of my head on the toilet. And I got up and I was more concerned that I had hurt my legs because I was going to go on a run anyway. Later that day, my ears started ringing and my vision went tunnel vision. After a lot of MRIs and seeing neurologists, I was left with brain damage, which was, one of them is called Alice in Wonderland syndrome, which is to do with the way that your brain sees things. And then it was a lot of noise issues, migraines. I had to learn to walk again. I couldn't walk very well because the part of my brain that had been rattled affected my motor functions. I couldn't always remember words. I would miss-say things. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't read books. And I've made a full recovery.
God bless. Oh, God, yeah.
The only thing that I'm left with now is I still suffer with migraines, not as bad as I used to. And for some reason, my brain has decided, now I have to think about this before I say it, that a seagull is actually a penguin. And when I'm not thinking, I'll call a seagull a penguin. And it's only when people are with me. And I just was saying to a friend at the coast, be careful because the penguins will come down and nick your ice cream. Obviously, I meant seagull. So anyway, you can make a full recovery. I was lucky, probably to do with the fact that I've studied a lot. So I've always had a busy brain and that I was very athletic. So the way that he's behaving is not unusual to forget and to remember. You know, there's some things that might work. There's some things that don't. I don't know whether somebody in his state would be thinking about exaggerating his symptoms. I don't think he really needs to. But I don't. In terms of his past and the type of person that he sounds like, well, he's put himself in that position, hasn't he? The life that he's lived, unfortunately.
I said it, I don't wish bad on Sam. He's, like I said, he said a lot of bad stuff about me and that as well. Do you know what I mean? And obviously I know he's got kids, but at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in this, and I am a big believer in this, and this goes for anyone. You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yeah.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You can't go around doing that kind of stuff and then thinking there's not going to be any retribution. Do you understand what I mean? I still honestly believe that what I've said is more close to the truth than what's being told. Yeah. I believe, because I take it's too short of a distance, a period of time. 1 week, you've wrapped some girl around, you're bruising her, you're threatening to do her in. Do you know what I mean? That's it. Oh, shut up. Always do it for views. That's it. I always get views as well, so shut up. And you know what I mean? So he's done all that, and then a week later he's in intensive care in a coma. So I'm telling you now, to me, this has got nothing to do with drugs. It's got nothing to do with the police. It's got to do exactly what happened to this girl, and that's my honest opinion.
Well, as a religious man, you've just witnessed a miracle, because I never had any open injuries. There was no bleeding. There was no cracking of the skull. It was merely the fact that my brain had been shaken from the fall, and that's what caused all of that damage. And it took me around 8 years to get everything back to the way it was before. And the fact that he's walking and talking with staples in his skull, you know, he's lucky to be alive.
He really is. He really, really is.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know so much about the criminal history of him. But yeah, like you say, if you were in that world and you behave the way that people are saying he did behave, then you put a mark on your back.
Rick said Tintin Sam's passport and keys. Tintin has said it. He got attacked in his car. I believe Tintin probably did. I heard it, Leah, earlier on. I've seen it earlier on, yeah. I really do. I don't believe it was the Kinahans. They used Snowcloud. I don't believe that. He wouldn't steal from them. Hang on. I'm sorry. What happened the week before, guys? A girl come back to his villa. A girl from Glasgow, a Glaswegian girl, right? She come